Hello, this is Brimster. I'm logging in Oswald and I'm going to try maybe some more echoes. I mean, it's tempting to try some of the dungeons. I kind of want to try an echo. So, I've completed everything. I'm up to Reign of Dragons. Let's go for it. Shards! The Imperial Walkers have entered the base. Gold, gold, gold. So it has melee damage, leached his health, endurance. That could be improved again. Like, I just realized I could actually improve that. That's close to minimum. That's close to minimum. Necrotic resistance is close to maximum. Chance to apply frailty. How am I on necrotic resistance? I'm over. So, isn't there a glyph that re-rolls the affixes? Re-rolls implicits. Rerolls the values of all affixes on an item. Rune of refinement. So doesn't that mean I could put that in, use a rune of refinement, and the minion damage went up, the necrotic resistance went up, the chance to apply frailty went up, and the increased critical strike range stayed the same. That just got better. Thank you. Take the gold. Hey Frappy! Long time no see. I don't think have I seen you while I'm playing this before? Today has been a huge amount of progress into me moving into the end game for this, I feel. You can't hear anything. According to OBS, I'm transmitting sound. Okay, let me check. No. If I watch the stream on my other computer, then it's getting sound. So well, I hope you fix your audio problem. Not that you can hear me saying that I hope you fix your audio problem. Ooh, okay. I'm not sure why that's showing up partially, because that is not... Oh, +1 to Fury Leap. That's why that's showing up. So I absolutely want to shatter that. And I've got 3 levels of Fury Leap shards. So thank you. That can go away. They get transferred. And I open the portal. I hope it's working now. What I was asking is, have I seen you while I've been playing this before? Because this game is really weird. I'm definitely having a lot of fun with it. I mean, as ARPGs go, I mean, it's something quite new to me. It's very like Titan Quest in a lot of ways. It's more like Titan Quest than anything else I've played. But, like, yeah, it's so smooth and with a lot of lessons that have been learned from games in the last, I don't know, ages. One of the Imperial Watches down. Go for, set these out. Yeah, so the mechanics in the game, I mean, it's an ARPG, but the way that you build your character is really clever. 5 primary classes, and about 2 hours in, then you'll pick a specialist class. I started with Primalist and then went to Druid, because of course I did. And then within that you can spend points not just in your Primalist and Druid, but the other options were Shaman and Beastmaster, and I was able to spend a few points in those, but you can't like master in the others. And then the skills you take for the build, you then customize and improve. So, for example, I've taken Werebear as one of my skills. So I can then customize the Werebear skill to be a Werebear in the style I want to play it. And I'll show you that when I'm not in this. And on top of that, there's an item crafting system which is fundamental to the way the game plays, which is just stunning. So, and from the very beginning, you will be customizing items to suit your playstyle, and it's just gorgeous. So I'm assuming that is class specific. Yeah, it's a rogue piece, which is why I'm not picking it up. So the reason there's all of this loot here that I'm not showing is in my settings, I've set up a loot filter that only shows very specific items. So this is an incredibly detailed loot filter, which is hiding all of this stuff because it's useless to me. So I don't even show it. And it's just a very, very clever system. Incredibly well-designed loot filters, incredibly well-designed crafting system, incredibly well-designed loot progression system. So the way it works is I started as a Primalist, and this is the Primalist tree. Then I spec'd into Druid. This is the Druid tree. And I also took some point in Beastmaster, but because I'm Beastmaster, I could never take any of this stuff. I was limited to the left side of the chain, because the right side of the chain is only available to Beastmasters. On top of that, in the skill system, these are all of the skills that are available, but to me, anything in colour was one I have sort of advanced enough to get access to. But of these skills, you can specialise in 5 of them, and the things that I've specialised in, and I've lost my 3 points that I spent here. Oh, it's taken the wrong ones out too. The ones that I've specialised in, you then decide how you want to specialise your skill. So I've decided I wanted to take these points rather than any of the ones over here. And it's, and as you play them, you skill up, and it's just, you skill up your werebear based on your playstyle. And you do the same. I've done the same with my Spriggan form and my Summoned Spriggan, my Fury Leap, and my Entangling Roots. So it's lots of customization, but it's customization plays based on the way you play the game. Then each of the items is also improvable, and you can craft those items. So using this one as an example, if I put this into my crafting system, I can improve the fire resistance here, I could improve the healing effectiveness or throwing damage, I could try and replace one of these things, I could add any spec I want to here based on what's available to be added to this slot, and based on the forging potential of the item. And actually I think that is an item that I want, because this has spell lightning damage on it, although it's got a very low roll on the spell lightning damage. This is something I want for my other build, and I wanted to have... This is just bad. So while this is the item I want, it's a bad one of the item I want. But yeah, you can then actually try and sort of get the items to be what you want by trying to re-roll and use the forging potential on the item to try and make things work. And it's just stunning. I'm actually going to get rid of that and hope I get another one. The other thing I love is, if you can afford them, limitless stash tabs. All of these are my stash tabs. And you can just keep going with your stash tabs. Like, as long as you can afford them, you can just keep going with them. And it's just... And the end game system is clever and just progresses, and it's just good. You know, I don't want axes, but let's go up through here. So the way this particular endgame system working is, I'm doing the, you do these areas called echoes. You unlock the echoes in these fractured timelines. As you get the stability, you can then do the quests in these fractured timelines to then face the boss in the timeline. And if you face certain challenges in here, you manage to then... once you complete the boss in the fractured timeline, you get a reward, which is a character buff called a blessing, and often you will want to try and get better blessings in those timelines. So you are working towards improving your blessings at the same time as you're trying to get the drops from the bosses, at the same time as you're trying to advance in level. And when you get high in level, then you're trying to improve in corruption to be able to try and fight the higher level stuff, to be able to push for the better. It's just this never-ending cycle, like all ARPGs are. But the targeting of it, and knowing what you're aiming for, and understanding the mechanics, and it not just... There's control. You can turn around and say, I'm after a particular blessing, and because I'm after that particular blessing, I can sort of target where that's going to be. And it just feels better. And on top of that, there's dungeons and ways of being able to control your item control and everything, which are all quite complex, and I don't fully understand them yet. It's just weird and good, and those stairs are broken. Let's see if I can get any mobs close by to just get a little bit more stability. The runes and shards and things that are dropping there are used for the crafting system, and you can just pick up as many of those as you need. It's just so you don't need to pick up the items, and items basically have no intrinsic gold value, so you can feel comfortable filtering them away. If they're not something you're going to need, just filter them so you never see them. Because you're not losing anything by leaving them behind. I need one more stability, and then I've hit the stability cap, or the bonus stability cap. And there I am. So I can open my portal and then leave. That dropped a whole bunch of axes and stuff, which are all completely useless to me, and everything that dropped there is completely useless to me. Put all the crafting items away. 11 void resistance. So that's 8 chance to poison on hit. That's 5 health on kill. I'm not sure. It's just so well designed. Synacia. So that's part of that set. I need to clean up my idols. I definitely do. Bone Scythe of Suppression. I don't need this stuff. I'm going to end up getting rid of a lot of this stuff. I know I am. Like, that is just... I don't need that. A scepter with increased physical damage. Physical damage is not what I need on the scepter. What I need for my scepter is... what I need on the scepter so I can enchant a unique if I manage to get it is crit strike multiplier. Ideally, I want the spell lightning damage and crit strike multiplier as a backup. Not going to get it. Okay. Rare daggers, rare shields. Let's head in this direction. It is just beautiful the way that they seem to have looked at what do players need. And this isn't even going into the faction system that's coming in 1.0, which is released in a couple of weeks, where they've turned around and said, how do people play action role-playing games? And how can we design the loot and trading systems into the game so that people who play the game in different ways get to experience those different ways of playing it and feel that the game is for them. Oh my lord, it's so good. And if Diablo 4 had released as a clone of this game on its release, like it had even 80% of the features that this game has when it released, it would have been Game of the Year. No, absolutely. I am going the wrong way. If it had come with the loot system of this game, if it had come with the itemization and the crafting of this game, if it had come with the end game of this game, if it had come with just the boss systems of this game, it would have been Game of the Year. This is definitely by developers who love action role-playing games, communicated with the community. Nothing was done behind closed doors. Like, it's been in early access for 4 years, so they've been able to talk to the community and say what works, what doesn't. It's just insane. I am amazed at what they've been able to achieve. Ooh. So that item there that showed up in the capitalized teal, that is an item that in my loot filter I have said highlight this item because it's got something that I desperately want on it, and I can show you that in a minute. So there's a couple of stats. So I've completed this little dungeon, but I can keep going to try and get the bonus stability to move towards the completion, though I probably shouldn't. I should just get out of here. Let's see if this is a shrine I want to pick up. It is experience, so I might kill a couple more things just for a few minutes. Did you see my post on Patreon as well? There was a lot of negative feedback to that for the puzzle channel. To which I don't know what to do. I can't keep YouTube happy and keep everyone happy at the same time. It's just an impossible... Glyph of Hope, excellent. Okay, so the reason that this item showed up in bright teal is I've highlighted in my loot filter here, recolor all item with 5 affixes. And I've selected in here 5 affixes. So down here under Primalist, I've set 5 things that if they appear on an item, out of all of the hundreds and hundreds of affixes that can appear on items, if any of these 5 appear on an item, then when the item drops, then I want it to be recolored with this teal color. So this item has one of those affixes. It's got +1 to summon Spriggan. And the reason I want that to happen is I want to turn around and I'm going to see if I've got Rune of... Is it Rune of Removal? Rune of Removal, which I'm going to pick on... Oh no, I could use Rune of Removal and hope it picks on Summon Spriggan. Although that'll only give me 2. I don't have that much of it and I don't need it too much. I'm just going to Shatter. And I got 1 level of Summon Spriggan Shard. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. 77 melee physical damage. I think that I have problems getting melee physical. I've got 34 of them. I might shatter that as well. Got 3 melee physical. That's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, I made a post about how I was activating YouTube memberships on the puzzle channel. And there was a typo in the first one because my medication was kicking in, and a couple of people responded negatively even though there was a typo, but it's not replacing Patreon. Even though there's going to be a little bit of exclusive content over there, it's not replacing Patreon, and I don't want it to replace Patreon. But people got a little snarky. And there's nothing I can do about that. The Hidden Oasis. But I'm here to play this game. Having multiple channels is a bit weird. Particularly when this is my small one. There's a couple of things that I would kind of like for this game to have, but I haven't played it enough yet to know whether it's just me not engaging with the game enough, or whether it's me being used to games that handhold you a little more, or something else. Like, I feel gold starved, but I feel that it's like that 77 gold. I have to run back to get it, and 77 gold doesn't seem like enough, but you kind of need a lot of it. Whoop, it came out of bear form. Run out of rage. You can never run out of rage. Running out of rage makes me angry. Similarly, having to click on the crafting items and then they go into your inventory slot, your bag, and then when they're in your bag, you then have to click on them to put into your permanent infinite storage. Seems like 3 steps that you shouldn't need to do. Like, if they're going to go into your infinite storage, why have to click on them and then... Like, you can hold infinite numbers of them. I mean, I suppose it means you can see them and you can say, oh, I'm getting some of these and everything, but maybe you have it that you need to click on them, but why have them then go into your bag and then have a button that transfers them to your storage from your bag? I don't get it. And maybe there's... Well, you can't trade them. So I was thinking... maybe it was... I think I mentioned in a video this morning that it was like, maybe it's because some people might want to trade them. But I watched a video this morning. They are untradeable. So these shards, you pick them up. Stunning shrine. And they go into your bag, which I'll show you when I'm not in combat. But of course the goal is to stay in combat as much as possible until I'm done here. I'm going to move on. So all of these little shards have been put into my bag, and then you transfer them into your permanent storage. Why do I need to transfer them? I don't understand. Ooh. So that is... Ooh, more of those gloves. I don't know that I want to say that it could be done better, but I'm not sure why they've done it the way they've done it. I really also like the way they've done the modifier stuff. So it took me a while to figure it out. So when you get modifiers in these echoes, you can see over on the right hand side it says that I've got to do things, and I've got active modifiers, some of which are positive, some of which are negative. And when you pick up the active modifiers, they last for a number of echoes. So if you pick up if you get one that gives you a really good bonus, so this one's got, I think it was 30% or 18% experience or something, but certain modifiers will come with much harder things to deal with, but those modifiers will last for multiple echoes. So you might get one where it's like bosses have, like in this one, they've got 100% increased crit chance, but the bonus is, in order to deal with that, quite good. So, but you'll be facing it for the next 3 echoes as well. So you can end up making a choice based on your build, what's good for you and what's bad for you. So there are certain things that are actually quite tricky for me to deal with, and other ones that are not. Because I've got a very crit resistant build, I'm not worried about 100% crit chance, because even if mobs are critting me a lot, I'm not going to take a lot of crits. Okay, I'm starting to get a lot of purples, and I'm going to need to start including much more purple stuff in my filters. But when I set up this filter, I was not getting a lot of purples. Ooh, level 80. It's just a really well-designed ARPG, and the faction systems are beautiful, and the concept of how they've designed it so you can play with others is beautiful. And they're not in yet, they'll come on the 21st. There's things that I am still struggling with a little, but you know, that's fine. Oh my lord, I'm getting a lot of purples. Hey Jaden, it's a Saturday evening for me, and I'm doing okay. That was a lot of purples, most of which I assume are going to be Terraform for me. I'm still really struggling with what's good and what's bad. But I'm going to say no on that one, I think. Yeah, I'm going to say no on that one. Crit strike avoidance I don't need in this build. In fact, thank you for reminding me. Passives, and I want to go to Druid, and I'll take avoid in that, please. So I don't need crit strike avoidance. Pass. Pass. Look at that later. Pass. Key and key. I'll put those away later. I'm not looking at staves at all. No. 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 And no. Go to keys. I will put in the... Whoops, that's the wrong place. That's the... Ooh, I don't have many lightless arbor keys. And this is a unique necklace. Serpent's milk. Poison resistant. No. Oh, of course, Thel. Thel. Well, absolutely welcome. Holy cow, welcome. Thelvanir, one of my longest friends in the gaming community. Welcome. Oh my lord. Thelvanir, meet Frappi. Frappi is one of my newer good friends. Thelvanir has been a great friend of mine for, oh my lord, how long? 15 years longer? Thelvanir and I used to play World of Warcraft together for a very, very long time. It's great to have you here. I wasn't even aware you knew about this channel. It's possible we'd spoken about it at some point in the past and I forgot, but that would have been ages ago. Belle is doing okay. Still playing a lot of WoW. She's been playing Diablo 4 while I've been playing this. And she's still having a lot of fun playing Diablo 4. I've been ragging on Diablo 4 a lot, but don't get me wrong. I got my money's worth out of Diablo 4. Every minute of Diablo 4 I play, I streamed and is available on this channel, but I did not feel the need to go back for Season 3. But of course, she is doing her Blizzard Watch stuff, so because of that she is doing a lot of World of Warcraft still. But as action role-playing games go, this has blown my mind. Like, I cannot believe how good this is. I think the best playthroughs I've done, like the ones that are most engaging, and the best game I have played in years, is Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077, the second playthrough I did of that is possibly, like, in the first playthrough I was learning a lot. Second playthrough was after they released patch 2.0, and it included the Phantom Liberty expansion, and it is just a masterful game. It is just, it's an open world game of Night City, doing lots of quests and just engaging with the city, and it is just absolutely masterful. The different ways of playing, I'll be honest with you, even though the 1.0 of this is coming later this month, it is so incredibly tempting to actually start a third playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077, which I know will take me a couple of months. It is just so tempting to do that. Yes, so I played, and that's a much shorter watch, Portal 2 was one of the first games I streamed when I got this new gaming computer. And then earlier this year, there was a Portal 2 mod released, which was a community mod, which was a game that was longer than Portal 2. And the puzzles in it were just as good. Portal 2 Redemption? Portal Revolutions, maybe? I can't remember. But it's in the Portal 2 playlist. And so good. I have to admit, I have been tempted to return to... what was the name of the Mars game you got me? I've had a couple of people buy me games. There's one called Terraformers, which is about terraforming Mars. And the other one, the one you got me, was Surviving Mars. I have been tempted to stream the occasional game of Surviving Mars, because I could do a playthrough of Surviving Mars in maybe, 2 or 3 streams, and then like have series of, a playthrough of Surviving Mars, and then another one, and then another one. That would be fun as well. But I keep enjoying these things in the open world games and the silly things I play. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Well, I've got for the puzzle game, for puzzles, I really have Bremster puzzles where I'm putting out at least a video a day. I'm basically putting out 8 or 9 videos a week minimum. So for puzzles, I've kind of got my fill, which is why over in Bremster Games, I'm kind of enjoying playing things that are a bit more, I don't want to say mindless, but comparatively mindless. And there's a not zero chance I'm going to be in Boston in 12 months. I think it's low, but it's not zero. But I think it's low. Frappy is a puzzle connoisseur to the max. For the last 12 months, Frappy has been almost single-handedly responsible for keeping my channel alive. Well, not single-handedly. I've definitely had I've definitely been a major contributor, but I don't think I could have done it without him. Oh, okay. I won't say what I know you were working on, but new job good? New job, I'm hoping? See, these things are much... So, because you can see over the top, it says the modifiers last for 3 echoes. So what that means is all of the modifiers that I get from this, the 15% increased item rarity, the 10% increased experience, and the enemies have 25% increased health and focus on attacking players, that will last for 3 echoes. You can't quite see it down in the bottom right because of my camera. Bottom left, but the enemy modifiers, the enemies heal if they've not been damaged recently, and the high health enemies have 30% increased damage. They've got like 1 and 3 left. So when you go into an echo, all of the modifiers are going to last for a duration based on how far you are from the entry point down here, and they get tougher and tougher and tougher. And this one's going to last for 4 if I do it. So the enemies will heal if they're not being damaged recently. Will last for 4. And that's, you know, actually not terrible because all my pets do things. Well, I'm glad that you've adapted okay, Belle. It's great. So... I possibly should have reset my werebear before I came in, because I'm about to lose werebear for certain. So let's drop out manually, let it reset, go back in, pummel! Let's pummel-gate some violence. But with the fact that I'm doing lots of bleed damage and I have pets attacking things and stuff, the fact that the enemies will heal, I don't think is a problem. I'm probably not interested in any yellow items anymore, but... Okay, I've defeated the Echo. And in case you're wondering, the kitties are doing fine. I've been furry for most of the time we've been together. There was a period for about a year in the middle there I didn't have a beard. Apart from that... I think in the time that we've been together, there's been about, in the 30 years we've been together, there's been about 18 months I haven't had a beer. That was not what I meant to do. I'm getting some lag, but I'm only at 19 milliseconds. Ah, that'll do. No items there that are usable at all. Oh, my character? Who knows? Fel doesn't play this game. Crit strike, avoidance, health, and strength. I am not even going to look at those. No, I'm not. Poison resistance and chance to poison on hit. I'll put that with my other idols. Poison is there. I'll put it with my other poison idols. I don't care about intelligence gloves. This is a game that promotes people playing together, which it will once it hits version 1, which I think is absolutely stunning. So they're introducing a faction system where when you get about 5 hours into the game, a bit less if you're a very experienced player, but when you get about 60% of the way through the campaign, the way it's going to work is you will pick a faction. And the faction is going to be... wait a minute. The faction is either going to be the Merchant's Guild, which allows you to trade, and as you skill up with the Merchant's Guild, you'll be able to trade more exotic and powerful items, or with a thing called the Circle of Fortune. And with the Circle of Fortune, you will be able to you'll get rolls on getting more powerful items, but you won't be able to use the effectively the auction system. So you can either buy and sell items to get the items that you want. So if you get a really good item for someone else, you can then power it up and then sell it to other players, and then use the gold that you make to buy items that are good for you and play the market. Or you can turn around and say you can't do any of that and have better chance at finding items. And while you can switch between the factions, items that you get from one faction or the other are flagged as requiring the level in the faction that you have in order to use it. So if you get an item as a bonus drop because you've got Circle of Fortune, then it will flag as requiring that level of Circle of Fortune to use, and you won't be able to trade it, and you won't be able to equip it if you aren't that level of Circle of Fortune, which I think is great, because it means that while you may turn around and say, I regret this decision, I'm going to give up the bonuses I got from Circle of Fortune to move to the Circle of Trade. Why am I going that way? It doesn't make your decisions permanent, but it gives you options, which I think is great. But one of the things it does that I think is absolutely fantastic, and there's all sorts of other bonuses that you can get from being factions, if you play regularly with someone else, and I gave an example to someone earlier today, say you play with your wife, and one of you goes to make dinner, and so one person logs off and the other one keeps playing. If you're playing with someone regularly, an item will drop, which basically is a connection item because you played with that person. And any item that drops for you, you can use the item that drops while you're playing with someone to be able to trade it with them, even if they weren't with you while it happened. Now, most ARPGs do it that you can only trade items that drop with people. So, I mean, with Merchant's Guild, you could sell it to them via the merchant system, which means that someone else could snipe it, of course. But with this, say I was playing with Fel, and one of us went to do something, and the other person logged off, or I was working from the office and Fel decided that she wanted to play during the day, and a perfect item for my character dropped. Because we've been playing together, she would probably have some of the item that is basically, it would have my account name on it or my character name on it. And if a perfect item for my character dropped, when I next logged on, she could trade it to me by using one of those items. And it just means that you don't feel that, oh, the person I regularly play with has stopped playing, therefore I have to stop playing. Because if the perfect item for them drops, then I'm just going to feel terrible. That level of feeling rotten has been completely removed. And I think that's just stunning. Like, oh my lord, what a wonderful system. And sure, you have to hoard those items, but apparently they're going to be rare, but not super rare. Like, I wouldn't expect to get dozens of them. But stash space is unlimited, effectively. So, you would come over to your stash and I would have one of these. I might put it with keys and I might just line them up here or something. Or I would create a specific tab for putting them in or whatever, because I've got all of these tabs. Buying a tab just for that makes sense. No, I'd be giving up too much. Nope. Nice, but no. No. Okay, so I've got a reset, but I haven't found a beacon. Let's do the quest. Oh no, there's a lot of crafting. The crafting system in this game is insane. It is the best crafting system I think I've seen in any game ever. And it's kind of just upgrading, but Hero has let delusions of dragons cloud his mind and drive him to madness. If you can carve a path through the defenses to the heart of the temple, I may be able to bring Hero back to his senses. So it is... You are not crafting new items. You are basically using items you find as a template to basically be able to improve them. So you are not crafting new items really. But the method that you use for it is really the items that you get are just templates. And I can't really explain it that well. There are videos out there on Last Epoch crafting that are just amazing, and will do a much better job of explaining it than I will. But basically, when you get an item, it will drop with a thing called forging potential. Now, each item can have 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes, and most items will drop, with between 0 for items that you will ignore forever, after you've like hit level 10. But they will drop with between 0 and 4 of these prefixes and suffixes, or affixes as they're called. Okay, that probably was the way I wanted to go. Okay, and those will roll pretty much randomly, and then with different levels of power. What you can do is, through the crafting system, you can use an item's forging potential to then try and make the item into what you want it to be. Now, the closer it is to what you already want it to be, the easier it will be to get it there, because you only get a limited number of shots based on an item's forging potential. So, because everything that you attempt is going to probably use forging potential. So, if you've got an item that has high values in 3 of the 4 affixes that you want, then you can probably do a fairly good job at trying to get the one that isn't onto an affix that's close to what you want, and then upgrade it. If you've got something that has all 4 of the affixes you want, but they're all low level, you've got a very good chance of being able to upgrade them to high level of the ones you want. And that's what these little shards that I'm picking up are. So all of these little shards that are dropping, which say things like attunement shard, or dexterity shard, or poison resistance shard. Those are the shards that allow me to modify the poison resistance on a weapon, either to try and remove it, or upgrade it, or turn it into something else, or on an item. So it's an incredibly powerful crafting system. And the cool thing about it is you can use it from the very beginning. So shards start dropping almost immediately, and you can start using them on items at the very beginning to, wow, okay. I need to concentrate here. This is not going well. So those little shards, of which there's lots of types. All of those little shards, these things here, are what you use for the crafting. And you could basically take an item and try and turn it into something better. More close to what you want. Ooh, injured dragon. He's about to do a big... Ooh, okay. Not a big amount of fire. Possibly would have done more if I was closer. Got him. Yeah, I'll try and show you in a minute. I was just in the middle of
What brings you here?
Thank you for your help. Without it, I could never have led my masters here with their full strength. Your masters? Herot fears their power, weaknesses, the flames of the dragons will destroy these gods and bring this land back to their true nature, a world where the weak fear the strong. You deceived me! If you wish to enact vengeance, you will go unsatisfied. The fire dragons burns within me now. I have fulfilled my purpose. What a surprise. So, let's pick up a terrible item and show you. Okay, so let's use this yellow item as an example. When I put this item into the forge, you can see that if I mouse over it, you can see that it's got 7% cast speed, which is a tier 1 prefix. I've got 16% increased damage over time, which is tier 1. And I've got 48% chance to ignite on hit, which is tier 5, which is the maximum you can craft. Now, the purple items that are dropping, the reason they're purple is they've dropped with something that is higher than tier 5, which you can't craft. So when you get something like that, it means that it is potentially more powerful than anything that you can craft up to. So you wouldn't want to play with that melee attack speed. And you want something to drop with something that you want to use at tier 6 or potentially tier 7, because those are things that you can only get from drops. But on this item, for example, say I wanted this item to have lightning damage. I could potentially click here, and if lightning damage is something I can put on this, it is not. Sorry, lightning damage is obviously a prefix, not a suffix. But I could turn over here and I could say, maybe I want this to have health on kill. I could click health on kill, and I could then just add health on kill to this item by adding the affix, and it would consume some of the forging potential to add health on kill to this. Or I could click on this and it would upgrade the damage over time, and the damage over time would get better. Or I could click here and it would upgrade the cast speed. And I could make all of these better. But there's other things you can do. You can use Glyph of Hope, which means that it has a chance to not use forging potential. I could use Glyph of Chaos, which means not only will it upgrade, but it will re-roll it to something else. So you could potentially just randomly get an affix that's better for you. You can use Glyph of Order. Now, when you look at... Glyph of Order is a weird one. When I look at the stats on an item, you can see that this has, for example, the chance to ignite on hit is 48%, which is about mid-range, so I wouldn't use it on this. But say on the chance to ignite on hit, say I wanted that and it would... Actually, I can't upgrade that, but say I was upgrading the increased cast speed and it had rolled 9%, which was maximum, and I didn't want to... I wanted it when it upgraded to the next tier to stay at the maximum roll. Glyph of Order would cause it to stay at the maximum roll. If I just upgrade normally or use a Glyph of Hope, when it moves up to the next rank, it will re-roll within that rank. Glyph of Despair has a chance of taking one of these affixes and taking it off, giving me access to the slot, but it takes it off. And at tier 1, it will always take it off. At tier 2, I think it's 20% chance that it'll fail. Tier 3, I think it's 60% chance. And at tier 5, you can never do it. Then you've got glyphs, and glyphs will do things like take random affixes off and turn them into these shards. And then you've got other ones that do different things, which is just an incredibly powerful way of being able to, like, I can use one of them and I say I want I don't want this damage over time. I could potentially try and remove the damage over time to get access to that slot in order to be able to grab it, because when I use a rune of removal, it'll use some forging potential, but it's going to remove one of the random affixes, potentially removing one I don't want. But there's a chance it'll remove one I do want to make the item useless. You've got also rune of shaping, which the implicits on an item... up here, it's got 55 melee damage and 62 spell damage. Actually, that's not a bad roll. But if those implicits at the top, 55 to 55, 55 to 65, if they'd been bad rolls, I could re-roll those implicits at the top to try and get better. So you can play with your items to try and improve them. And you can do this from the very start of the game. It's absolutely crazy. And all of this is limited by the forging potential. When your forging potential hits 0, you are done. Now, this item still has forging potential, but my melee damage is at the cap. Actually, my chance to bleed on melee. Ooh. My +5 to attributes is max. My 304 shred armor on hit is close to max. My 150 increased melee damage. Ooh, do I want to do some rerolls on this? I could potentially get some more melee damage on that. But I think what I want to do... I don't want to play with it. This still has 6 forging potential, but everything is at 5. But all of that is good. That still has 4 forging potential. So I could upgrade my endurance on that. And I've got slots to play with. How have I still got slots to play with on this? Probably minion damage? That gave me another tier of endurance for free. Okay. So now I look at the stats. 51 minion damage, 82 physical damage, 14% endurance, 38% cold resistance, 65 armor. So what I could potentially do is, because I've got a much better chance of increasing the implicits, I think it's down here which rerolls the implicits. So I could use a rune of shaping. Oh, I've got no forging potential. I thought I had more forging potential on this. Oh, that used all the... I don't. But that increased that belt again. No forging potential, no forging potential, 6 forging potential. But that's... I've got stuff maxed there, except the endurance, which I don't really want to mess with. I'm about half-half. No forging potential, no forging potential. So, you know, that's kind of how it works. It's really, really cool. seal the ash gate. Here's the ash gate. And I'm really enjoying this build, which is basically leave lots of plants everywhere that just shoot everything. So that's why you're trying to pick up all these shards and everything, because you want to use them for crafting. And why some of the incredibly rare shards you want to if items roll with some incredibly rare affixes, you want to highlight those items, because if the shards don't drop very often, then if you pick up even bad items that have got those affixes, then you can pull those affixes off the items and get those shards, which is just such a good system. Got an arena key. Increased spell damage shard, which is a shard that I am going to need a lot of if I change to the lightning druid. Keys. Now, let's try the second chest. Dragon's Grotto. In this time the gods failed to exterminate the dragons in the ancient era. Instead, the dragons overcame them and usurped the roles. So this game takes place over multiple timelines. The dragons overcame them and usurped the roles of gods in history. Find and destroy a clutch of storm dragon eggs. Ada and Set. Three named dragons? Fortunately, I've got good lightning resistance. And Baal. I can't see what's going on. One down. Got him. Storm Dragon eggs. The Storm Dragon eggs are far more numerous than expected. Even if all of these were wiped out, a single clutch in another grotto would be enough for them to rise again. Still, I will destroy them. So that was that. Fighting 3 mini bosses at the same time. Okay. Okay, now I need to get a bunch more stability in the timeline before I can do the third quest. Oh, here's a echo information. So let's head this way. I can't believe I'm doing level 85 echoes. This morning I suppose that's game progression and it's the way it works, but... Bunch o' shards, TM. It's an Eber! Like a bear, but can't spell. I'm assuming there's a joke somewhere about that, but I don't know. Like, one of the developers was trying to name the bear and typed it in wrong or something, and they kept it in. It's the sort of thing that I imagine happened. But I have to say, this... Ooh, Temporal Sanctum Key. I have to say, this has just been so much fun. It's great to have you around, Phil. I definitely miss chatting. I do wonder what's happened to a lot of the Oceania people from the old days. Are you still in Oceania, by the way? I mean, I'm here a lot, so I'm easy to chat to. I haven't logged on to WoW for over 4 years. 2019 would have been the last time I logged on, and that would have been WoW Classic. I have to admit, I was tempted by the Season of Discovery stuff, and I was thinking, do I want to log in and play Season of Discovery as one of the games that I stream? And then I heard about just all of the bots, and it was like, you know what? I don't. Yeah, I'm still on Discord as well. It's weird knowing I'm the one who set that Discord up, but not even active on it anymore. But that's okay. I shouldn't be. It's Fel's box. And it should be Fel's box. She's still guild leader, by the way. At least I think she is. I haven't heard she's not. I went to a guild meetup about a year and a half ago. And met one of the new guild mates who was visiting from interstate, and realised that 25 or at the time about 30 years ago we used to live together. Both of us in different states to where we currently live now. Nope, it's Temporal Sanctum. It goes up there. Physical resistance idol. No, that is not good enough. That is a good cold resist one. That is better than that one. That one can go away and be replaced by that one. Poison. More of those gloves. I get these gloves a lot. Dexterity, don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care about a quiver. Don't care. Don't care. So I want to do this and expand my horizons. Yeah, I'm drinking gin rather than coffee. I'm starting to believe I won't die here, even though I'm level 80 and this area is level 85. Although, I pushed the wrong button then, that was dumb. I wasn't a bear, it was unbearable. I have made that joke at least a dozen times. And it was just as funny the 12th time as it was the first. Not at all. Level 81. Okay, I'm no longer level 80. Echo conquered! Shards. One thing this game doesn't get right, although it could if I'd set up my loot filters correct, is... So if I'd set up my loot filters so that only the correct items were highlighted, or if my... So say I set up my loot filters so that the, absolute perfect item dropped, it was highlighted in an incredibly rare color or whatever, then if I saw that color, I'd get the dopamine hit. But at the moment, almost nothing dropping gives me a dopamine hit. But if I knew what my perfect item was, and I set up a loot filter saying, if this item drops with this affix at this level and this affix at this level, so, if this particular two-handed axe drops with these rolls, then drop it with a particular affix. If I saw that, then you'd absolutely get the dopamine hit. But there's not that in the game for me yet, because I'm not setting that up correctly, because I really don't know how. I mean, I do know how, but... You can't craft on uniques. What they drop with is what they drop with. Minion dodge rating, freeze rate multiplier coverage. Nope. 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 Rare enemies have 60% increased health and damage. I'm doing okay, so we'll see how it goes. It was one of the questions I did try and ask, because the game has a beautiful built-in guide system which everyone turns around and says it will answer all of your questions. The first question I tried to ask it when I got that was, what defines a rare enemy? And it's not listed. I should just try and ask it about enemies. So let's do that, enemies. Nope. So I don't know what the definition of rare enemies is. think I'm going to play a Paladin in 1.0. Shrine of Wealth. Always check shrines to see if they're something that's going to drop something. Fragment of the Enigma. That is not what I wanted. Ooh, I can do the final quest. So let's give this a try, shall we? In this timeline, the dragons overcame the gods. Slay the Emperor of Corpses. I know nothing about this boss fight. So I am going to need a lot of luck. What was that? I don't even know what that was. That was my entire screen went cyan. Like the entire screen went a funny color and then I was dead. So and now I can't do the boss until I've got some more stability. So I don't know how that works. But my entire screen went a different color and then I was dead. So I don't know what that was supposed to be. Is this another... There was something going on that I couldn't see because my entire screen changed color? Legendary potential. Which would be good for... I think that would be... Those would be stunning if I was playing my Paladin. But I'm probably going to play my Paladin in the season. There was a range. I didn't see anything. I have terrible eyesight. And when my screen changes color like that, I literally couldn't even see myself. All I saw was my screen was a single color. So I'm going to have to try and figure out how to adjust to a different color. Okay. But I definitely couldn't see detail on the screen. So if there's like obstacles I need to avoid, or attacks in there that I need to avoid while it's going on.
The epoch is ours! Raya! Aid me! Raya! No! Raya!
Now I'm wanting as much stability as I can get. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's nothing in there that I need to dodge, because if I can't just run in a straight direction and get out in any direction, because literally I couldn't see anything on my screen. There was a previous boss I had to come up with a technique for how to do it because my vision was affected by it. This one is worse. We'll see how we go. No, I'll die in the next one. Chance to shock on hit, damaged over time, chance to chill on hit. That is not good, but whatever. Stun avoidance and increased stun avoidance. It's got the wrong resistances. And it doesn't have increased physical damage. It doesn't have the Yeah. Do not know, cannot say. Okay, so my screen is going to turn a funny colour. My screen is still a funny colour. I can't really tell what's going on. I got interrupted in running, but further away is good. Wow. Wow. I need to get him out of the corner. No! So if he gets in the corner, it's over. Because I literally couldn't... The problem I had is I needed to pick up... It'll only drop a limited number of potions. I needed all of them, and one of them was behind him, which I couldn't get to. No, I wasn't... I didn't feel close. Oh no. Problem is he keeps killing my pet. Necrotic resistance, chance to bleed on hit, or increased physical damage. Ooh. If I take the necrotic resistance, I think I want the necrotic resistance because then I could not worry about resistance in future. Although that's a minimum roll. And that's a close to maximum roll. Even though that's going to put me over the cap, I think I'm going to take the resistance. Because now, anything that's got necrotic, just necrotic resistance on it, because now I'm way over the cap on some of this stuff. Like, that can go away. And now I could, for example, upgrade the gloves and then put this back. So if I took this off and put this on, not quite, but close. Yeah, I can get an item with something else. Yeah. That's a good one. And that's a good one. So that allowed me to increase my armor by a bit. And my health by a bit. And I can still lower my resistances, but getting that fine tuning. So that unlocked the level 90 ones. I suppose I could start and see. So that unlocked these. Age of Winter, the Last Ruin, and the Spires of Fire. I'm not going to do a full one, but I could do a couple of the intro. I could, you know, build up some of the level 90. Let's see how much level 90 is going to kick my ass. But I was really happy I got that boss. Thank you for the advice on what you could see and everything. Ooh dear. Considering I was expecting to play today basically just to farm some golden shards because I wasn't feeling well, I'm really happy with kind of how the progress is going. Because this is the difficulty where I can start getting tier 7 affixes. Stunning shrine. Everything I found was a crafting item. Everything is crafting. It's really good. I mean, it's really nice to have Frappy here, who I'm not sure if Frappy is still here, but it's really been nice to have you here, Sal. One of the reasons I started streaming video games is I don't know if you remember, I can't remember the name of his WoW character, but my father played WoW for a while, and he passed away a year ago, 3 days ago. And he got out of gaming a few years ago, basically when he quit WoW, because he just couldn't play anymore. It was all just too hard for him. It was too hard to see half of the stuff that was going on. It was just all too tricky. He just couldn't engage with the games properly. And gaming had gotten away from him. And I'd never bought myself a system that could do streaming or any of that. And I kind of regretted it, because this is something we could have done. I could have sat at home and we did some stuff together where we talked about the games that I'd played and everything, but I absolutely could have done this. I could have sat home, I could have streamed, even if it was just the two of us, and we could have chatted while I played video games, and it would have been absolutely amazing. And many of these games he would have loved. And I kind of regret that was something that I didn't try and do earlier. And I'm kind of doing this for me. Like, because I know a time will come, potentially sooner rather than later, like in the next 5 or 6 years, when I may not be able to game anymore. And having these streams, I'm hoping that I can look back on. I'm hoping, particularly of games like Cyberpunk and everything, I'm hoping I'll be able to look back on and sort of not so much relive the glory days, but go, these were fun, and watch them and enjoy them almost as sort of strolls down memory lane. And I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I'm enjoying playing the games, and it's not taking me much to record them. It's okay. I mean, this week has been rough because it's the anniversary. And I miss him so much. I definitely wish I'd had brothers and sisters, or kids. You know, someone I could share it with. Other than Mum, who's going through it harder than I am. And, you know, so that she could have, you know, had the grandkids visit or whatever. It's hard on us. Because she's got no other kids, and yeah, it's just rough. It's just the way life plays out. We've been incredibly lucky in our lives, and it's just right now, it's just lonely. Yeah, and we do remember the fun times. It's just that, it's just so weird to me that February last year was the best and worst time of my life. It's just such a weird feeling. Health and freeze rate multiplier. Probably not, no. I mean, 21 health is good. But no. But, you know, this is where I come to hang out with friends. And, you know, please remember to like the stream and comment and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Make sure YouTube actually knows that I exist. It's amazing how much YouTube cares about that stuff. This could be fun. I'm curious. Wow. The cuckoo. Tier 6. Tier 6. Because I believe it's possible for me to start getting tier 7s now. Imperial Watchers have entered the base. Imperial Watchers have entered the base. I'm going to keep saying the same jokes over and over, aren't I? Although I've noticed I haven't seen... There was sharks or something that I made a joke about when I was doing the campaign, and I've never seen the sharks again in here. These are just fun. I mean, much more so than Rifts or Nightmare Dungeons. I don't know what it is, but these are just fun. Possibly because when you do them, you feel like you're making progress. With a rift, at the end of it, you get the loot from it, and you get some Paragon levels, and that's kind of it. Whereas in this, you're getting the progression towards being able to do the quest, which will allow you to get a roll on a blessing, and that will be sort of something you can progress towards. So you constantly feel like you're moving towards something. With Nightmare Dungeons, I can't even remember what it was you were moving towards. Oh, glyph XP. So you were trying to improve your glyphs so that your Paragon board would be powered up and the glyphs on your Paragon board got better. So I suppose that was there. So you would get the XP towards powering up your glyphs. So I suppose that was a thing. But it was such a... So yeah, I don't know. Why do these feel more rewarding than Nightmare Dungeons? That's an interesting psychological question. Possibly because you've got some control over the affixes you do. Why is that showing? Tier 5, because it's got a tier 6 experimental. It's not a good tier 6 experimental. It's absolutely terrible. Maybe. I'll have a look at that later. But yeah, I don't know why there is a sort of an emotional difference as to why. It might be because Nightmare Dungeons felt more repetitive than these do. Like, this is going through kill the mobs, but there's more goals at the end of this. They're interrupted by doing quests. It feels like there's multiple goals to doing this. And there may not be. It just... They're also not as long. They're easier to get to. Like, you walk up, you push the button, you select the one you want to do, and you're there. So there's none of this... The game has turned around and said, how do we keep you in the fun bits as much as possible? There's no having to teleport out in the middle of one of these to empty my bags and use the forge and repair. There's no like, I can pick up every item that I actually care about in this. And the rewards at the end. And if I push the right button, that's how full my bags are. And I don't think I cleared out after the last one. And this is me getting more stuff than I'm used to. So, yeah. No. 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 Oh, actually, no. Actually, what do I need for that? I need critical strike multiplier on a relic. Yeah, I don't think so, but I should have checked if any of those had tier 7. Too late now. They're all gone. I may have just got my first ever tier 7 and not noticed. Wasn't that dumb of me? Let's just say odds are that I didn't. Okay. Why did I just teleport over there? That was a little rough. It's possible they all were. I'm going to say none were. Oswald agrees. Die, birdies, die. Make your mother cry. You're old enough to know better. Ash-covered Majeka. In this timeline, the immortal shamans rule with necromancy and fire. They have brought destruction to Majelka, and soon to the rest of Aterra.
Ah, yes.
The city is no more. The shamans came, tried to burn us with dark magic. When we fought back, they tore the earth apart. Rivers of fire and an army of undead are all that is left. They left a pyromancer to keep the fires alive. I can dispel the flames guarding him, but I'm not leaving any survivors until the pyres they've erected are destroyed. Only then will we be safe. Leave it to me.
May Aterra smile upon you.
The burning bone pyre. Another burning bone pile. Stay a while. Stay forever. Increased melee attack speed. Not perfect. Gold, gold, gold. Gold, gold. Susanna, go ahead and cry. I would give the world to see how I used to be when I had no axe to grind except for chopping wood. Day was day and night was night, wrong was never right, never matter where I was as much as where I stood. I had dreams average size, there were stars in the skies, not my eyes. Then I got gold. My fruits, they're all ashes now. Is there no justice in the world? Gold fever. No romp and roll and girl and fellas stuff can cure the gold fever. Nothing can help you but the yellow stuff. What can stop my chimney around the kitchen? Gold, gold, hooked and mine. Says then I go ahead and cry. Once we all did honest work, farmer, lawyer, clerk, married men and single men, and some who ain't too sure. Now I look at them and see duplicates of me, cured of what we're suffering from and suffering from the cure. Who can say why we came? Where's the hope? Where's the flame? We're the same. When you've got gold fever, no one stuff you cure gold. Actually, it's not too bad in this. the mages have consistent abilities, and you know they're going to teleport, and you can try and adjust to it. So it's a... I've actually found them not too bad. The other thing I've found is there's very few explode on death mechanics. There's mobs that will, on death, stand up again at half health. But there's been very few, oh, this mob died, so you're about to. Because explode on death mechanics, like in Diablo 4, are everywhere. And they are just terrible. So it's like, oh, I walk into a fight, I do a whole bunch of AoE because I've built an AoE build, and because I've powered up my character, I'm now dead. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, whoever came up with explode on death mechanics for games like this, yeah, terrible. Absolutely no benefit to the gaming community at all. Worst concept ever. I don't know any gamer who enjoys explode on death mechanics. Teleporting mobs can be annoying, but if they're like if all of mobs teleport, then you've got a problem. But I haven't seen it much, like in this game much, is mobs that will like just kill you from off screen. So that is going to be a class item, because I'm hiding all class items. So a unique dropped for a class that wasn't mine. I've decided to pick it up anyway, but I knew it was for a class that wasn't mine because I saw it dropped, but it was filtered. Such a good loot filtering system. Speak with the shrine maiden. And honestly, between teleporting mobs and mobs with explode on death, I think it's a no-brainer. But they can be a problem. There he is, transfixed by the flames of his own creation. On your signal, I will douse him with the waters of Sarethka. Defeat the Pyromancer. So, tier 6, tier 6, tier 6. And I can say right now, I don't want any of those. I can go over here, I can go to uniques. This is a hat. Nice hat. Slay enemies to locate the wild gate. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's really just running content over and over. Maybe it's the fact that see, there you go, there's a mob that stood up at half health after you'd killed him. But that's very different to mob died, a tenth of a second later, it exploded. So if you killed it in melee, haha. Or if you killed 10 of them in melee, haha, you're now dead. I don't know, there's just something nice about the feel of playing this game. I mean, this guy is going to be a teleporting mob. I know he's going to be a teleporting mob. Because these mages always are. Didn't stop him from dying. Now, there are other teleporting mobs. Ooh, misshapen remains. Ah, this is the ambush. But, you know, if I was playing a wizard, I'd be a teleporting mob. So they've really done a great job on the pace of this. I don't know. There's something about it. One other thing I've noticed is when you start, you're hitting for like 10 or whatever, and when you're level 50, you're like hitting for occasionally a few thousand. I'm still only hitting for a few thousand. It's not like in the Diablo games where you start off hitting for like 1 or 2, and then you'll hit for like a couple of hundred, then you'll hit for a few thousand, then you'll hit for a few 10,000, then you'll hit for hundreds of thousands, then you'll hit for millions, and there's this ever-growing scale. In this, it feels way more bundled, so being level 100 isn't 100 times more powerful than being level, or it might be 100 times more powerful, but you're not like millions of times more powerful. The stats don't go up as much. Like, my strength is still only 45. Now, apparently you can get it to the hundreds or whatever. And once you get your resistances capped, then you start working on doing that, and you start building those up. And you start trying to, like, I will start trying to get better stats on this, and I'll start trying to build up these stats, and I'll try and start getting my attunement and my strength up and all of that sort of stuff. And I'll try and build my stats. Basically, this should be a strength build, but the other one I want to play should be an attunement build, and I'll try and make all that work. But you can make those focuses happen when you get there. But it doesn't feel like, oh, you've got one thing to focus on in Diablo 3, where you'll end up with all of your stats except, like, if I'm playing my Templar, Crusader, then all of my stats are going to be like 81, except my strength, which will be 28,000. It feels way more in tune. It's something about it that is just, I can't explain it. Undead enemies deal 25% extra damage and health. Well, there's a lot of undead around. See? The fact that they've put shrines everywhere is good. So it's like, oh, give the characters a huge damage bonus. So what? Or give the characters a bonus. Make them feel that huge hit. Unlike Diablo 4, which turned around and said, we're going to give you these shrine effects, and then half of the time they're going to be traps. Ha ha. Like, what? It's like, no. Have them. Enjoy. Like, wait a minute. Action role-playing games can give you things that are just fun? Quick, someone tell Blizzard. Yeah. Here he is again, teleporting mage mob. Dead teleporting mage mob. Now, they've definitely had some accessibility issues. But all in all, this game has had the things that I liked about Titan Quest, but it's a 2024 game. It's been out for 5 years, but it's still in early access. This game is released in a couple of weeks. Anyone can go and buy it and play it, but it's still effectively in beta. This isn't the full release of the game. It's pretty close. There's still a couple of master classes missing. There's still... I don't know. The faction system is still not in. And they still haven't started their cycles. So they're not doing seasons, they're doing cycles. They're seasons. They're just a different name. And with the pacing in this game, I think cycles would be fun. I think they've got the pacing right for it. And one of the things that I really like, by the way, is you can play this game online or offline. There's an extra bonus. So you can play it offline where you can play... I believe you can play with friends, but you'd need to host the game. You can play it, or you might have to play with just people locally. You can play it online where, like I am now, and my ping time has been fine. I should have done that first, shouldn't I? I haven't noticed any real problems with playing online on my ping time. Or you can... so online and offline mode is fine. What was the other thing I was going to say? You can play online or offline. You can... Oh, there was something I was going to say. There's other modes. You can play single multiplayer. They've got hardcore and all of that sort of stuff. Not that I ever will. The faction system. Tier 6, Tier 6, Tier 6. Oh, what was it? They're adding the faction system. They're adding the play with your partner system. They've already got the play online or offline, which I think is great, by the way. So if you're playing in terrible ping or anything, you can just create an offline character. You can't toggle between online or offline, but you could just play offline. So yeah, just really, just finding out how do people want to play. And letting them. Ooh, waves. Waves upon waves of demented Avengers march cheerfully out of obscurity into the dream. There's rocks everywhere. Necrotic resistance and damage over time. Fire resistance and increased health. That one could be useful later on if I get rid of something. Beacon. There was something else I was going to talk about, but I can't remember what it was. But when I first heard about this game, it was like, yeah, I don't know. Another ARPG. Looks a bit like Path of Exile, which looks way too complex. No. The balance on this is so good. There's no pay to... there is... you buy the game, it's quite cheap. It's like 35 US. I think it cost me like 50. That's an Australian dollar thing. There are purchasable extras. They are all cosmetic. They have stated very clearly, and as a company, they have put their reputation on. They are going to sell cosmetic options, but they will only be cosmetic. And you look at the game now, and look at the quality of life stuff they've got in the game. It's like Blizzard have terrible quality of life stuff in the game. Like, there's not enough storage, there's not enough access to the good items, there's not enough the in-game systems are locked out. You've got all sorts of things, whereas for this they've turned around and said all of the quality of life stuff is built into the game. Like, what would we sell? Now, they may release expansions with new quests and new in-game options and stuff like that, and that's fine. Like, I hope they do. I hope a couple of years down the line they turn around and say, and now it's time for us to release an expansion, and the expansion will have, the bunch of new different in-game systems that you may choose to engage with and all sorts of stuff, or, a new extension to the quest, because the quest line didn't finish, and all sorts of stuff. I hope they do that. But they do have the ability to go to the store and buy cosmetics. I mean, I don't need to at the moment. I'm playing a druid. I am always a bear. Actually, there's a couple of cosmetics that I quite like. I haven't checked the pricing of them. I might. Because I have played a little bit of the alpha, and I've gotten more than my money's worth out of this game. Like, it is very tempting for me. Like, unfortunately on this channel, I don't have enough supporters. Like, if this was Bremster Puzzles, I would absolutely be buying the advanced pack out of channel finances. But I don't have channel finances on this channel. Nope. 3% increased health and 19 health. Now, can I shuffle these around? Yes. Because I lose a little bit of armor. So my health here is 1527 and my armor is 1611. If I put these on, my armor was 1746, but my health is 1495. So I lose... Oh, is it worth it? 14... So with these... 36% armor and 1495. With this, 15, 27 and 34%. Actually, you know what? I think I'm better off with that. Tier 6, Tier 6, Tier 6, Tier 6, Tier 6, Tier 6. Increased void damage is not what I want. Melee lightning is not what I want. What I want on the scepter is crit strike multiplier and spell lightning. So, for example, these are weird. I like this portal. I like this portal a lot. This one is kind of my favorite and it's the cheapest. So I get this pet. I'd get this back. So I could spend another 30 bucks and get those and 150 epochs points, which would allow me to get... I mean, there's not that much stuff. There's a fire cub. Yeah, I mean, there's not that much stuff. No, Fel doesn't really stress too much about that. I mean, she's a huge pet collector in WoW, but she doesn't really pay real money for most of them, I don't think. And the fact that you just pick these and you progress through, it's so much nicer than Nightmare Dungeons, where you're basically doing the same ones over and over and over. These, you're not doing the same ones. I mean, you are pushing through the Echo area, but you're not doing the same dungeon over and over and over. Like, in Diablo 4, there are, was it 20 Nightmare Dungeons for the entire season? These weren't the same ones. Like, I'm doing different echoes, and you do it once, and you're not going to get the same one again. You might get sort of similar procedural concepts. Ooh, I ran out of rage. Cannot run out of rage. I have infinite rage. But, you know, all of those things were cosmetic. They wouldn't affect gameplay at all. So, it's all about, you know, I'm enjoying this game. Do I want to support the game? The same way as there's a bunch of people who, like, do I want to support Brimster Puzzles? I might throw him some cash. It's like, no requirement to do so. Although, over on Brimster Puzzles at the moment, there's 25 bonus videos if they do, but I'm trying to figure out how I deal with that. I haven't yet announced that. The reason I'm comfortable doing it is I'm solving puzzles that another channel has done a playlist of all of the solves on. So when I do announce it, it's going to be, I've got content over here of me solving all of the Nala's adventure calendar. The puzzles are available for free over here, And if you want to see someone do a video solve of the puzzles, go check out Lucian's place, who has a playlist of all of the puzzles being solved. Nope. Nope. See, that's a ring I'd like to replace. I would really like to replace that ring. But that's not the one to do it with. Because, oh, maybe... So the way to do this... It removed the tier 6. That ring is no longer legible. Bye-bye. Why is the cross symbol lit up? You're talking about when I had the ring in here and there was a... So I was using this and it was basically saying if I used this it could remove a random one of these, and I was happy with it removing basically anything except the 2 on this side. So I was hoping it was going to remove one of these 2, and it didn't. But considering the ring was it was like, will the ring become good? And it didn't. Oh, this. Yes, it's because I haven't spent my level point. And I should. What time is it? Yeah, I'd probably finish soon. Enemies are deadly if they've not been... This is the other thing I tried to look up. I tried to figure out what deadly meant. So I went to the guide and I tried to look up deadly. And it's not there. Fell calling? It's just late at night. Fell will be going to bed soon. I'm not too worried about enemies being deadly if they've not been damaged recently, because I have all of those pets to do damage. No, I've got another screen. So I've got another computer with a different screen. I've basically got screens to left and right with information. So I am completely surrounded by computer monitors. So the one to my left is the one that is controlling the stream and has chat. And the one to my right is my main computer, which is the one I use for recording Sudoku puzzles and has Discord on it and all of my normal stuff on it. I might die here. These mobs apparently become deadly. But considering I'd have like bleed effects and pets and all sorts of stuff, they should continue taking damage fairly substantially. Eberhead. That's got tier 7. It's not one I want to use, but I'm getting closer to ones that I want to use. I'll eventually get to the point where I won't want to pay attention to anything that isn't tier 7. And apparently you eventually get to the point where you don't want to pay attention to anything that's not tier 7 with a tier 6 on it as well. Although those are apparently very rare, so... And this is the thing, you're still chasing incredibly elusive things. So as you progress, the loot that you're chasing just becomes more and more elusive. And I think that's great. There is a really clear and understandable item progression. Like, okay, you're looking for better items, and then you're looking for items with rarer, higher level affixes, as well as potentially legendaries with rarer and better affixes that you can put those affixes on. It's like, oh my lord. Sorry, uniques in order to be able to make legendaries. It's like, this is just good. I'm not a bear anymore. Get me out of here. None of those were good. That ring? I don't think so. I'm just going to say no. I should just hide anything. I'm now at the point where I want tier 6s, so I should adjust my loot filter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a rule which is... I don't know what just happened. I'm going to add a rule. Which is to hide rarity, normal, magic, and rare. Now, I haven't been buying these.
Take care.
Let's do the magma caverns. In this timeline, the immortal shamans rule blah blah blah. So let's see what happens. And then I'm going to call it at the end of this.
Ah, yes?
We are in the bowels of the mountains. Far above us, the shamans are beginning the ritual to split the world open. I may be able to extinguish the flames down here, but their minions must first be dealt with. Dispatch them, I will be able to begin. Will you be safe? Do not wait for me. As soon as the caverns are clear, you must rush to the surface and deal with the shamans.
May I tear a smile upon you?
Yes, I'm sure she will. Destroy the infernal flesh and destroy the soul furnaces. I might die here. You keep saying I will not die here, but you know, you've said that before and I've died. I get the feeling I have come the wrong way. I'm definitely going to need to rebuild my loot filter. Ow. So that it works better on exalted items. got him. Yeah, it's really good. But now most of my filters are useless because I'm showing items that meet certain criteria, and then I'm hiding everything except Exalteds, and I'm showing all Exalteds. So I really need to refine. I mean, it did me good for a while. Am I fighting two of those bosses at once at the moment? I think I am. Well, there's another one just around the corner, which I do not want to engage until this one is dead. Okay, that one is much easier to kill. Too soon! You have awakened me too soon! I might die here, there's a lot going on. That did not go the way I wanted it to. All those crappy loot. What? Oh, he turned up. There you go. Completed the second quest and got very little from it. That is terrible. I'm not keeping that. Okay. So that was a lot of fun. I really don't need to keep my quest log open. I'm not doing anything from the quests. So this is just fun. Am I keeping any of those? Melee void damage. I am going to shatter that. I am not going to shatter that at all. Wow.
Yes.
And I'm going to buy some runes of shattering. And at some point I am going to go through my stash and I am going to basically trash all of these yellow items. I'm going to get rid of because I'm never going to use them. And then I'm going to redo. So these 3 stash tabs are terrible and I need to clean them up. I don't know what I'm going to do with this stuff. Sets, I don't know what I need to do. Idols, I need to clean all this up. Uniques, I'm doing okay for the moment. None of these are really ones I want to use. Apart from these 2. I mean, I look at these and go, are any of them any good for me? This is the closest I saw that might be any good, and it really wasn't, because this thing has so much damage on it. So I'd want something that has really good damage on it. And I'm not seeing them. Potentially. So I believe there's ones that have low level requirement. So you can see some of these requires level 6. Some of these have, like, that has no level requirement at all. So 21 melee, physical damage, 7 strength, health gained on companion hit. So that one doesn't have a level requirement. Some of them do. Some of them don't. But Harthanon's Vow, really nice, does a lot of damage. So if I was to use that on a new character, it would be incredibly powerful right at the start for a while. Now, the problem, of course, is when I create my new character on the 21st, I'm probably going to start the first cycle, which will mean that I will be going into like a season in Diablo 3 or Diablo 4, which will mean I won't have access to any of this stuff. I'll be starting from scratch. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm not worried about keeping stuff for that. What I am kind of building towards is if I do try the Eternal Lightning Druid. So, I'm hoarding too much, but really that's okay. And I'll try some of these at some point, but I'm just having fun playing through. Like, I see what's in front of me and I do it and it's all good. Yeah, I'm just having fun. Thank you, Thel, for dropping in. This has been so much fun having you here. And I've probably played for about an hour longer than I would have. Maybe an hour and a half longer than I would have because you were here. So thank you for dropping in. It's been great chatting to you. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the game. If you want to watch something that I think is probably the most fun, honestly, if you've got a computer that'll run it, play Cyberpunk 2077. It is so good. But if you want to just watch me play something that I think is absolutely fun, there are moments in there that I absolutely hate it. When I get to the first real boss, I loathe the game. But most of my experience through my second playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 is pure joy. It is so good. Thank you, everyone who sees this at any point. Thank you, Thel. Thank you, I think it was Frappy. And did I see Keith at some point? Maybe not. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And I'm now going to go to bed. Am I going to play this tomorrow? Possibly. We'll see how I go. Bye, everyone.